All right, it feels good to be back in the seat. This is the Brian Moreno Show. Wherever you are listening to us or seeing us, thank you for taking time out. We got a show for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Brian Moreno, your host, your namesake. If you are a regular to the show, you know I've been gone a couple weeks. We're in the process of making some changes to the show. We are constantly trying to make things better and let things evolve. And there are certain things in the show that after so many episodes, if you've been watching from the beginning, you know that have changed and are constantly changing. And this show is near and dear to my heart. It's something that I've thought about for a long time, and really I put a lot of mental work into this show well before it ever came to life. And now that pandemic is ending and life is kind of coming around, I can say I'm no longer an ex-comedian. I performed again last night. Murdered. Went first to challenge myself too. Like when everybody's ice cold and they're like, what the fuck is this? God, and it's like, if you are hearing my voice for the first time, catching us on Spotify, Breaker, Podcast, wherever you Google Podcasts, all these places, know that I am an actor, comedian, ex-public relations manager of the Wall Street Journal. I am a card collector, gambler, drinker, vegan, meat eater. I am a Renaissance man of this century. I am a director, a filmmaker, and I call myself an ex a lot of things. Ex thing, just as a joke. But I believe in this world, we have to constantly reinvent ourselves. And in doing this, sometimes we're challenged and sometimes we're put in uncomfortable positions. But if we really want to survive, we're going to. And the person I have in studio today is not only the epitome of this principle, he is a badass meat motherfucker, okay? As much as I try to be healthy and monitor myself, God damn it, I have indulged to the max. And this man in studio today is not only one of the gurus of meat indulgence, I would say he is to me, ladies and gentlemen, he is the main meat man in Los Angeles. And I make the main meat man in Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen, Dustin Bartz at BARTZ BBQ on Instagram.
Yep.
You can find him everything in the body, but please check him out at BARTZ BBQ on Instagram. Check out everything he's doing, because this guy, I'm telling you, thank you for joining us in Studio 51, but this man has, I believe, you changed the meat game in Los Angeles. I believe you did. Not single-handedly. No. Because I'm going to tell you folks, this is not the first time Dustin has been in studio. This may be the first time you're hearing him. But we tried to record this podcast. This was the last episode I really did was with him.
Yeah.
But we had audio issues.
Yes, we did.
So I tried to post it. I tried to piece it together. No go. No go. But he is such an important person to what I think is a very tight-knit community, the meat community. This may sound crazy.
The meat community.
Yeah, but I believe he is an integral cog in that meat wheel. And I think, okay, because Los Angeles, if you know anything about LA, LA has always kind of been a burger town. Like there have been a lot of really iconic burger shops in Los Angeles since I've been very young.
For sure.
And I think the burger thing in LA has kind of evolved to a little bit of Texas kind of smoking barbecue place. Like there's a lot of different restaurants that I think are now doing takes on what you were one of the innovators on.
Which one?
The smoking business in LA.
Oh, the smoking business.
The smoked meat business in LA. I think you did what you did so well. You not only inspired other people, you changed the whole market. Like you were one of the people that helped change this whole market. And
I might have been one of the first dumbasses to decide to do that for a business.
Yeah, know? Goddamn right.
But I don't know about.
It takes dumbasses sometimes.
I just know when like I thought I was the first. When I moved back from Austin, like I lived in Austin for a few years. And
let's start from the top. Like you've been in LA how long?
I lived in LA all my life. And then I had this other business where I had the luxury, I could move wherever I wanted and it didn't matter. So I moved down to Austin because a couple of my buddies did and I was tired of living in LA. And then when I was down there, that was like the first time I had like real barbecue. And I thought I was just like missing something in Los Angeles. I'm just like, okay, I've eaten a lot of places. Maybe there's places like that in LA, but I didn't even pay attention to it when I was down there. I just started eating tons of barbecue at all the Franklin barbecue and all the other hot Austin spots at the time, because that's when it was starting to become real big.
Where was the first time you were introduced to smoked meat?
Oh, that was at Rudy's Texas barbecue when I visited Austin, and it was like, I mean, they're not like highly rated, but they're kind of like the in and out of barbecue, or I don't know, just the
that was your first introduction.
Fast food version of barbecue. But I mean, even their barbecue is better than anything in Los Angeles that you can get at a restaurant, you know. I mean, it's like legit barbecue. It's not just like the higher echelon of like, if you're trying to rate places.
Let me ask though, when you first tried smoked meat, did you immediately know it was different than like a grill or whatever means?
Yeah, it's like when you tried it out, it was like,
because I didn't.
I was like, man, this is like.
I thought they were boiling it or something.
No, I knew how they cooked it. I knew they cooked it. I mean, because I cooked a whole bunch, like just because I was a single dude before that. So
But you never smoked before. Now hold on, before you get
never smoked.
This is a new addition to the Brian Moreno Show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Amon Tequila. This is going to be the first time I try it right here, live on set. They sent me these bottles. No.
Nice.
This is an absolute. This is the Reposado. I will. We're going to do a food and beverage episode here. Why don't you pour yourself a little in there, Dustin?
Yeah. All right, Pooch. Watch out. I think that's good.
So we're drinking a little of the Amon Tequila. We're talking smoked meat with Dustin Bartz at Dustin Bartz at BARTZ BBQ.
BARTZ period barbecue.
BARTZ period barbecue on Instagram. Check him out. He is a man amongst boys when it comes in the meat world. Bottoms up to Amon Tequila. To Amon, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yes, this is our newest edition of the Brian Moreno Show. We're going to do a whole food and beverage episode.
It almost tastes like you're drinking water with like some sort of tequila in there. It's like so smooth.
Wow, that is delicious.
That's pretty dangerous, dude.
Wow, that is super.
I don't know if we need to drink a whole lot of that.
Wow, Amon Tequila, ladies and gentlemen. That will be that will be a staple of the show moving forward. I do like it, but that
didn't even taste like tequila.
It's delicious. No.
I normally don't like tequila,
and I have a little bit of information on there. We'll maybe get to it, but when it comes to you,
It's made by virgins. Is that what it is, or something like that?
Yes, babe. Yes, this does taste like it was. It's so delicious.
It's like virgin sweat.
Like this was like baby's umbilical cord tequila. This is delicious. Like whatever like Angelina Jolie puts on her face to keep her young, this tequila was probably made of that.
It must be.
This is delicious.
I feel like I'm like 10 years younger right now. I'm gonna run out Hollywood Boulevard and cruise down with all the idiots down the street. They're partying down.
Amon is thrilled they sent me these bottles. Yeah. No, seriously, there will be 1,000 to 5,000 people that are now introduced to Amon because of
1,000 to 5,000 people.
Yeah, like 1,000 to 5,000.
1,000 to 5,000. Oh, okay.
No,
I was like, you're starting at 0 and going up from there. It's good. That's how I feel about the barbecue.
Your story is great because you started as a backyard smoker. Tell the story of how you got your first. This was how long ago you got your first smoker? Because this story is like you sought it out for how long?
So the abbreviated version, because last time I talked for 3 hours.
No, you told me.
We never got to the end, Like last time we started, it was like I never got to finish it. So I'm gonna abbreviate
this is your
it.
chance. See,
like we're doing retake. It's like very few things you get to retake in life. I get to do the Brian Moreno Show.
This is like if the Dodgers got to redo the World Series without the Houston Astros cheating.
Exactly.
Right?
There you go. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at right now. So I lived in Austin, discovered barbecue, ended up moving back to LA. When I moved back to LA, look at yours. The light's so much better.
Okay, you moved back to LA.
Anyway, I moved back to LA from Austin.
I'm going to keep you on track this time.
So I looked around at these barbecue spots in LA, and I just thought I was missing something out that I didn't know about when I lived here previously for all the years I lived here. And I went to all these top barbecue spots. I won't name them, but they all were crap compared to like what anything you got in Texas. And I'm like, well, this makes no sense. So that's when I started really researching into like the whole, like how, that was like when Franklin Barbecue, which is like the one of the top spots in Austin, he started releasing some videos on YouTube on how he cooks the food and all this other stuff. It was all free information. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I need to get this smoker. This is like, because I never questioned how it was made when I lived there. I just ate it. I didn't care about cooking it. You just went down the street. It was back in Austin before there was huge lines. So I'm like, okay, I got to figure out how to make this. So my buddy, who also lived in Texas, he's like, all right, let's go find this smoker. Like one of these offset, these big old smokers you got to get to cook it. You don't want to go to Home Depot and buy one. You got to get a legit one to even have a chance to make halfway decent food.
And at this time, where were you looking for? Where do you?
On Craigslist.
Craigslist, okay.
Yeah, because it was not. It was something custom. Well, first I bought plans on the internet to take to some welding place to see if they could build it for me. And I went to all these welding spots around LA, and they're all like, look at me like I'm like a fucking alien, dude. Like, what you want us to make this?
But this is a tough weld because it's too. What is the name of the? How do you pronounce this type of smoker with the 2 chambers?
It's an offset cooker.
An offset cooker.
So essentially, there's like a big ex-propane tank they use as the cook chamber, and a small one attached to the side of it, that where the fire's at. So the fire never hits the meat; it just kind of flows through the cook chamber and cooks it at like low and slow. So like
okay, now I'm gonna put up on the screen an offset chain, like something like this.
Yeah, it's like the Home Depot version.
Sure, okay, but like a big daddy one.
You want to? Yeah, I mean it's the same. It's the one. Either one of those.
Something like this.
But it's way bigger. But that's what you would get.
Now something like this on the screen here. Was anything like this ever available back in the day for you?
Well, that's a real one right there. Whatever you went to, that's a more legit one.
That's a real offset smoker.
That's like you can see it was a propane tank. It's not made quite right, but that's a poorly made one. But it Like if you type in my buddy, just go to my buddy. You have Instagram on? You bring Instagram
Sure,
on
of
there?
course, yeah.
Yeah, just go to SG Metalworks.
Okay.
And he's SG Metalworks Instagram. I don't think he has a website. But actually, smoker's a big important thing about the whole cooking thing.
Now, how long did it take you searching to find? Here you go. Let's pull
see,
it
this
up.
guy, like guys like this didn't exist like 8 years ago. So these are all the legit like Texas style smokers everyone uses to cook the food.
Now, if you're listening to us on podcast or any of these other places, this show was always intended as a show on YouTube. So if you want to see any of these images, check us out on YouTube on my page. So SG Metalworks, how long has this guy been in business?
Oh, he was. We're like friends now, but like he basically was just a welder dude making fences and shit. And then, well, we should start at the beginning, and then we can bring into what this is.
Okay.
So we'll start at the beginning. That's what I was looking for as a smoker like that. And so like I looked on Craigslist for probably like a year straight,
Sure.
And I was just trying to find, one of these offset cookers, and no one was making them. No welder guy would make me one. All of a sudden, I found this one listing for something that someone put together, which was similar to that, same concept, but just not as nice, And I'm like, $800. Okay, that's a deal. I'm like, the steel's worth more than $800 on this thing, so it doesn't even work that good. At least it's a solid built, machine. So I went and called the guy. He's like, yeah, I got it. I go, why are you selling it? He goes, oh, because my friends tell me it's too heavy to lift on my moving truck. I have to leave like 2 days to move out of my house. I'm like, okay. I'm like, all right. So I get my dad. We drive all the way out, like an hour away from my house on the freeway to go check out this smoker. And I told my dad, I'm like, I think we need a trailer, to take this thing home. My dad's like, well, let's just see what it looks like, son. And I'll decide if we need a trailer or not. Because I had a truck, And so we go to this guy's place, and this thing was for $800. It was nice. I mean, it was
in today's market. What would something like that cost?
Well, even that market, it should have been like $1,500, $2,000.
A lot more.
I mean, now you probably could easily got easily like $2,500 for it. With the condition it was in, because it was like barely used. Like the guy kept very good care of this thing. However long he had it.
Sure.
And so I'm like, when I see it, I'm just like foaming. I'm like, yeah, here's your $800. Like, I couldn't get out of my hand fast enough to give it to him. I gave it to him in the backyard. So me and my dad rolled this thing in the front, and he's like, well, how are you guys taking it home? Would you have a trailer or something like that? And I'm like, my dad's like, no, I think we can lift it onto your truck, bro. And I'm looking at my dad's like 60 at that time, and I'm like, I don't know, Dad, it's pretty heavy looking. He's like, are you a man or a mouse? And I'm like, I guess I'm a man. At least today we're gonna lift this on the truck. So the dude, like, I wasn't like Slim Jim back then. I was like pretty, overweight. But this guy that owned it, he was just like 400 pounds. He was big boy. So no wonder why he didn't want to move it around. So he sees me and my dad, that's like 60, like lifted on the back. And it was about like, 1,000 pounds. We lifted on the back of my truck, threw it up there, got it up there. It was hard, tied it down. And so I'm driving like an hour back home with my tailgate supporting half the smoker with 2 tie downs. And my dad, like,
did you drive on the highway?
On the freeway, yeah. My dad has. I told him to have his hand out the back window to hold the smokestack. So somehow something broke, he could hopefully hold it long enough where I could slow down and we didn't drop it on someone's car, because it would have destroyed someone's life if that thing fell out the back.
Wow. So it was definitely an illegal transportation.
Legally, it was on the car, but.
Yeah.
There
has to be some level of.
It was more being scared that you weren't. Because I'm very cautious when you put big things on your car and you tie them down. You don't want that.
And you lived where and had to put?
Well, I live in South Bay, which is like Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach.
And you put this where?
And we drove all the way out to Inland Empire to like where all the strip clubs are off, like right off, like where like there's all those. Middle of nowhere, dude. It's like I would never want to live there.
Yeah.
I.e., No,
That's
off
where
the
you
60
picked it up.
That's where we picked it up.
And then you drove it all
the way to South Bay to the beach area.
To the beach area. And when you did that, got it there.
That's the best part when we got it there.
Yeah.
So we get it there, and I didn't have a house. I lived on the beach.
This was 8 years ago?
Yeah, I lived on the beach in Hermosa, and like I had no yard, no nothing. So my buddy lived up the street in Hermosa, and as his house he had, and he had a backyard, but he lived on the steepest hill in Hermosa Beach, which was, for the ones that can see us, it's like this, like that. Like you walk, it's only one block. If you walk from the bottom to the top, like I don't care what shape you're in. I mean, unless you're really good shape, you're out of breath because it's just straight up. It's like on top of this hill, he has like the best view I've ever seen. So we go, and that's the house we have to get in. So we drive my truck down there, fucking back it down. So we're on the right side of the street next to his house, and we're looking at this thing, and there's 4 of us there, and then we had to call like a couple neighbors, and we just had to like let it loose, and like literally the dudes had to like catch it as it fell off the car, while they didn't like roll down the hill and hit all the parked vehicles, you know. So we finally got it off the truck, which was amazing. My dad couldn't believe it. He thought we were gonna fuck up for sure. And so we get off the car, and then we had to like lift it over, push up a hill, and like the whole time his whole property, you know, is slanted. So we're trying to push this big old beast into his backyard. Luckily, we got it there, but that was.
So see, that's the thing. It's like, as much as it seemed like a difficult endeavor, you wanted this. You wanted to.
We had it. It was at his house. It was like all we gotta do is make it in the backyard, dude. And it's like that's that. And you
amazing.
Know, if only I knew that was gonna be the easiest thing on this whole barbecue adventure was trying to get this thing into the backyard. But so yeah, we finally got it back there. Probably the next day later, we went and got some pork shoulders and decided we were gonna start trying to do some barbecue after a couple YouTube videos, and we're like, oh yeah, man, this is easy. So we
wait. So you had no foreknowledge of no one had trained you. You were just YouTube videos.
No, I've never been trained by anyone.
Okay,
100%.
Okay,
I'm not a chef.
When you,
I refuse anyone tell me I'm a fucking chef.
No. You're not a chef. And I was thinking about this, ladies and gentlemen. Just please understand.
Maybe I'm too far away from the mic.
That Dustin is he is a meat master. You are. I've seen you handle and work with not only just like large pieces of meat, but large quantity of meat, and deliver not only such consistency. I've seen you run a business where people happily line up for an hour.
No, it was up to 3 hours when we were at the brewery.
Okay, well, I only saw an hour.
No, I mean,
you were always nice enough to me to take care of me in an hour.
So, yeah, there was pre-pandemic, there was times that, I mean, that was actually, I think we're getting ahead of ourselves. Sure. Let's just put pieces together.
But I'm just trying, because you discount a little something that I'd like to point out to people is, you know, how far they've gone or how hard they've worked or how much they've influenced other people. Like maybe it'd be totally unbeknownst to them. And you specifically, no, seriously, you specifically have affected. I tell you, my friends have eaten your meat, packed it up in a bag, froze it, and took it to Canada when he was on a road gig because said it was the most delicious meat he's ever eaten. Took it to Canada and ate it in a hotel, and you brought joy to someone's face, thousands of miles away, and for nothing more than doing your art.
I wonder how interesting that meat was after it went through the whole process.
It probably wasn't as good.
Well, I know.
I can. If there's anything I know about food transportation,
there was this dude like on like a side note, the same thing you're saying. I remember I did an event where like we couldn't get rid of the food, so one of my buddies was working it, and he's like, I'll take all these pork shoulders, whatever. And he was like, rode his bike there, and he straight up like throws it in a trash bag and rides out, takes the bus home. No joke, like 6 months, maybe 7 months later, I get this tag on Instagram, BARTZ BBQ pulled pork tacos. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Where is this? As I said, I'm like, where'd you get those? Would you come down to one of my events? Because I'm doing all these events.
Yeah.
No, bro, that's the meat I froze from you when I saw you 6 months ago, and I'm just getting through it. It's like, you gotta be kidding me, dude. You had like, you had all these pork shoulders I gave you, because I thought he was giving away to people.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was like hoarding them. I can't imagine how big his freezer was. Like he hoarded all these pork shoulders, and like I said, dude, don't tag me more of those, dude. That stuff's been cooked.
Because you don't want someone
we need to
get...
vacuum seal it. Like I vacuum seal all the frozen stuff, so it keeps it nice. But I think he just got them and wrapped them in foil and threw them in his freezer.
Well, but he took the bus home too. It's not like he was expediently getting home to wrap
he just
them.
needed food, I guess.
Well, no, but
he was hungry.
But the thing is, if someone gets sick and they tag you.
Oh, I didn't want anyone to tag. No, he wasn't even sick. He wouldn't get sick. I just looked how sad the meat looked, and I'm just like, no, bro. Like, I don't want to see some sad, frozen, rehydrated meat that I gave you 6 months ago.
Do you now that you are as deep as you are in the meat game? Do you think that these LA laws are going to change to make it easier for a guy like you to have a smoking business?
Well, it's not that you can't have a smoking business. You just can't have an outdoor cooker smoking barbecue in LA. And that's where the important part comes. I mean, kind of. Like, the indoor cookers, people claim, aren't as good. They can't make as good food, blah, blah, blah. You have to have the outdoor smoker, the real fire, versus the indoor one. It's either like some fire that's like controlled in an area, and then the rest of it's using like gas or propane to heat it, but it gets the smoke. So it's like some like not like the ones that you just showed on Instagram.
It's like a hybrid.
It's like an indoor. I mean, but the thing is, I've cooked on more smokers than probably any of these jabron barbecue guys that claim they're barbecue guys in LA. They're like, oh yeah, we're all gonna get that propane tank smoker. I mean, from the first smoker I had to where I'm at now, I pretty much cooked the gambit of smokers, and every time I can say I made a like good product off it, that people want to buy. So, but the biggest problem is all the guys that are following the Texas crowd that have the ones that like the SG's Melworks smoker, they all want to be like authentic. That's like the authentic smoker. You can't use those in LA to cook barbecue.
And what is the exact law?
There's really not a law. It's like some sort of hybrid version between health department rules and there's really I've explored it very long time, including like
it's just a lot of bureaucracy overlapping.
Including like with Farley from The Eater, who's like like the editor in chief of The Eater. Like he's looked into it. Me and him talked, and it really. I mean, I really don't see it ever happening, because if you live, say, you live right here, you live on Hollywood Boulevard. Okay, so say not where you're at, but like just down the street, right where that action starts and the houses stop. Just imagine if there's a restaurant there that has an outdoor cooker of all the smoke going in the air, and you have a $2 million house or whatever, you're paying $2 million to live there, and you open your windows up and smoke rolls in. There's no way that's going to fly in LA. But
I have a Traeger outside.
But that's fine, because it doesn't smoke like it doesn't. The other ones don't put a lot of smoke in the air, like visibly, but smell wise, like if you're cooking 30 briskets
Oh,
on a smoker.
It's a lot of smoke.
It's not the smoke. It's more like the meats that. Like, you go by an In-N-Out, like, or
sure,
you drive by In-N-Out sometimes, and if it's the right time and your windows are rolled down, you can smell the burgers, but it's not like it goes much past wherever that little circumference is. But like on barbecue, because like when I used to cook a bunch at my house, like I used to cook 30 briskets at a time at my house. Dude, I had this mailman that he finally caught me outside, and he saw that I had a BARTZ BBQ t-shirt. He goes, "Are you the one cooking that barbecue in this neighborhood?" And I'm like, yeah, I have a big smoke. He goes, "Man, I can smell that shit for 4 blocks." and he goes, "My dad was a mailman," and he goes, "I tell him all the time, like I have this my route. I don't know where it's at, but 4 blocks, I can smell this barbecue." And I mean, that's why I got banned from the state of Lawndale for even cooking there, because when I was cooking this stuff, I mean, it lasted a while when I was cooking like mass quantities before I got kicked out from my own house to cook at.
So how long did it take you to go from backyard smoker to getting kicked out? How long?
So I bought that backyard smoker. The short version was I moved to Lawndale, brought the smoker to actually my house, and that's when the barbecue actually turned good, the little smoker I bought, because I didn't realize that the amount of wind you get blowing from the ocean into the firebox of the smoker when I was in Hermosa at my buddy's house totally screwed everything up for us. But once I got to my house, I started cooking like 3 years at my house. I was making food for my buddies, and I can say the barbecue, looking back at it, wasn't that good, but they thought it was good. And I shut down this other business I was running, and I needed money. So I started I hit up some breweries, and like, they're like, "Yeah, man, this food's really good. If you want to come sell some food outside our brewery, go ahead." And I needed some money because like,
yeah,
I was almost broke at that. I was pretty much broke at that time because my other business went down so hard, so fast that I wasn't used to that, because I was living a very good lifestyle.
Wow.
Selling security cameras prior to getting the barbecue business.
Yeah.
And so once I got into, how you doing over there?
No, I'm thinking. So when
What are you thinking about?
So when your business and the security camera, like whenever that business went down, when did you decide that you could actually be a smoking businessman? Because I
had no intention of being a businessman.
It doesn't matter. When did you decide you could?
No, I was like, I need to make money. I'm making no money now. All right, I'll buy some food at the grocery store, go to this brewery, set up outside, and sell food once I said I could do it. And so,
and how much your first night making money? Like
I made like $300 or $400.
So it was worth it.
It was. I sold $300 or $400 worth of food. I didn't make a lot. I made because I wasn't able to make very much mass quantity. I made I think a couple briskets.
And what did you sell the first night?
Just brisket and pulled pork. That was it. And I think I had some sides.
And did people love it?
Well, they all loved it. I mean, well, that's the thing with food. It's like you're at a brewery and there's no food guy there, and some guy makes some food. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't that good.
You say it wasn't that good.
Well, it wasn't good compared to what I do now.
There you go.
Let me rephrase
you
that.
might have evolved, but I think you were always pretty good.
No, I'm more of a perfectionist, or I'm a technical perfectionist. That's what I do. Almost anything I do, it's like I know if I can technically make it as good as possible, I don't have to put all the emotion other people put into their product. I can formulate how to make something good and make it happen, but I really don't even want to do it. I was
so
I was forced into the barbecue business.
Do you even like being a barbecue or a smoking master? Do you even like this this moniker that I give you?
No, I just well, the thing is
because that's what I'm trying to.
I've never been that excited. I mean, there's some cool shit when you make good food that you get to meet cool people or do interesting things that you would never do in your normal life, because no one cared about surveillance cameras. I was really good at it. I made more money on that than I've ever made in my entire life, and spent it all, and had a great time for about 10 years. It was between the age of 21 and 31,
and then the business just died.
Well, it switched over to everything switched over to 1080p, and my product was obsolete kind of after I did it for 12 years. It was overnight. It was like this, these analog cameras are the way, and next thing you know, this new product from China comes out, everything's 1080p, and within 3 years, my entire product I custom made was done. And so then I tried to sell the other product for 5 years, and I did okay for a while, but eventually got to the point where the margin was so low. It's okay, I sold $100,000 in stuff, and I'm making $4,000 this month because I'm making 4% on some of this stuff, because after all the fees from eBay or whatever you sell it through, all the channels, it's so that's when I was dude, this is not sustainable. I mean, I was losing money. I lost I had all this money saved up. I lost $100,000 in a year. And then I had to loan money off my parents, because then I was really screwed, because I was, trying to hope that I could figure out some way, because it didn't make sense in my head how I couldn't figure out some sort of scam or some way to make money off the security camera business. And then
that was your business.
And I finally gave up. Well, that was the best one I had, at that point. I had other stuff I was working on. And then I was all right, well, let's sell some food at a brewery. That sounds crazy, but this is before anyone else did that. I was the first. I know this for a fact, probably. I was probably the first person in Los Angeles that sold barbecue, Texas-style barbecue, at any brewery in Los Angeles 5 years ago.
And look how quickly it's changed.
Because I know everyone that was involved at this point in my life. I know everyone that was involved that had any type of credit, back then. And a lot of people were selling out of their backyard or front lawn or whatever.
Oh, there were people selling out of their front lawn.
Yeah, but there was no one at breweries going. I mean, because I never tried the front lawn thing, because I don't know. I live in Lawndale, and I was how many people are coming to my neighbors and buy food off me?
So you setting up at LA Ale Works?
Well, back then it was Absolution.
Okay,
Absolution Brewery in Torrance. That was
you setting up that was a first of its kind. That's so interesting.
Because there was only in South. Well, I mean, there was some breweries that had fuod vendors, but
South Bay was a lot cooler back then too.
South Bay, the only other guys, and we give them a shout out, was this company called Barley Hops, and they were the only food vendor of all the breweries, which in Torrance, in South Bay, there's a lot. Even back 5 years ago, there was 10, 12 probably breweries in South Bay. But yeah, there was food vending wasn't a thing back then at breweries. It was more if you had one, you had one, but it wasn't a necessity, where nowadays it's every brewery has a food vendor.
So how quickly did it change? Because I know I was introduced to you. I think it was through social media, and I went through my brain kind of trying to figure this out, how I was introduced.
It wasn't through Dave?
Yeah, but through Dave tagging you on something.
I got you.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, who's this BARTZ BBQ? Investigate, and I immediately introduced myself to you, what up? What is this? Because Dave has cooked me some things. Dave Williamson.
Dave Williamson's the master.
At Dave Williamson Comedy, Meet Dave Podcast, big shout out. Big time meathead. Just like you. Just like me, I'm a meathead.
Well, I think he's more of a meathead now because he knows me. Because
he is a big time meathead.
Because I remember I met him at the El Segundo Brewery, and we started talking or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, I'm a comedian." Well, I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." And back then, it was I was like, "Yeah, this might be the most famous person I know." He's he told me how he does all this comedy, and then next thing you know, I'm selling him one of my used smokers, because I went through 4 different smokers till I got to the pinnacle of whatever my thing was. And I remember I had one of these ones I had, and I'm like, yeah, man, you want to buy it? And I'm like, hey man, it'll up your game, dude. You got to get the smoker. So yeah, once he bought that smoker, and then next thing you know, like now he's Meat Dave.
Well,
I mean, it's so funny.
He
it's so funny
with the meat moniker, sure.
Yeah,
but you're like the offensive lineman on the NFL team. Okay, he might be the flashy quarterback, but you're in the fucking trenches. Okay, like you are moving mountains to get those couple yards on the goal line. Okay?
Gotcha.
And I've seen it. Like I've seen you put 30 briskets in a. What's the max you've smoked at one time? What's the biggest?
No, I mean like because
it's not
what made me want to not do barbecue anymore
is the big orders.
So I went from like selling $500 when I started, maybe $300, to peaking out around like $3,000 to $4,000 per event. But there's a lot of costs involved when you do that much sales. So Super Bowl weekend during COVID, I had like a barbecue sale, for pickup, and I had to run my smoker for like basically 37 hours, and 2 hours it wasn't working was when I slept, I guess.
Yeah.
And I had helpers with me. It wasn't just by myself, and this wasn't even all that I sold. I sold so much food that my buddies, the Barbacoa boys, I sent Jay over an order for 10 briskets and like 10 pork shoulders. I'm like, you got to cook this on your smoker because I sold so much stuff that I'm paying you to cook this for me. Wow. And so
you maxed out.
So I cooked 30 briskets on my smoker, another 10 on another smoker. I cooked like 60 racks of beef ribs.
Jeez.
Like 40 racks of pork ribs. We cooked, I don't know how many pork belly burn ends, but it probably was like 80.
That's a lot of meat.
Oh, that wasn't even the sides. That was just the meat. So like we have like these big vertical warmers that they're like 6 feet tall. They hold like tons of meat inside. I had to buy 2 more because I already had 2. I had to buy 2 more extra ones just to do this event. And so after I cooked all that food, that was kind of when I realized, I'm like, man, if I had a really successful barbecue spot, this is what I have to do every day. And like, unlike other people, I would be doing it myself most of the time, or may have some helper, but maybe I wouldn't have to actually distribute the food, but like I do now. But like, it was too much. My body was like shutting down because I was just like up so many hours trying to make this thing happen. And I'm like, man, I don't really want to do this anymore. Like, I just like decided like, I don't want to do it like this at least. So since our last conversation, that's exactly what I was thinking about it. I think it was more that you had grinded yourself out in a way that you figured you'd rather work smarter than harder. Well, COVID made me grind out because like that was the whole thing that like I had to figure out ways. I had to figure out so many, I don't know if you want to call it like scams, like sounds negative, but
no, so many alternatives.
So many different ways. Like I changed around what I was doing during COVID, so many different ways of trying to make money that like finally I was just tired. I out hustled myself. I got to the point where I was doing so many hustles to try to make money, which I was doing. I did really well.
Yeah,
like, I didn't do bad. I'm not like some, restaurant reject that like lost my life savings during COVID. Everything worked out great for me financially, but it was only because I was built for this shit. Like everyone else is not built for this. Like I've been trying to hustle shit ever since I started this whole thing. So when everything went like sideways, I was like, fuck, man, this is perfect. This is exactly where I need to be at because I can figure out so many angles on how to make money. But I did so much work to make the money that like eventually I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do all this work. My mind was just like, it was tired of thinking ways on how to figure out your next move. So I have so many new moves that are set up like on my chessboard of stuff that I could see if it'll work out where I don't have to work so hard. So luckily for me, since we talked last, since that episode never aired, so now I'm a barbecue instructor. So
and you actually did it at your place, right?
Well, it's the first one's gonna be in like next weekend.
Okay.
So I basically spent a lot of the money I made during the pandemic to upgrade my house. Like I put like an extra bathroom in, so the people going to my classes have like a bathroom to use. It's not like in my house really.
Yeah.
I put I have like these new gazebos, new fences. My whole house is repainted. Everything's really nice. So like when it comes over there in my backyard, I have like these. I have a huge backyard for LA standards. At my house, it's like enormous. So
that's great.
So everyone can come over there, and I'm doing these barbecue classes. The first one to show how to cook a brisket. So it's like an 8-hour class from start to finish. I teach them how to cook on an offset cooker, like we showed on the SG Metalworks. I have one of those in my backyard. I'm going to cook on that. And I also have a pellet smoker. I have a Rectex pellet smoker. So that's similar to like a Traeger smoker or whatever.
Yeah.
So that way I can teach people how to cook on both ways, because I can cook good brisket on either one. And so like they come to the class that, they learn how to cook it, because it takes like 8 to 10 hours to cook a brisket. So everyone has their own brisket. They put it on the smoker, they cook it. And I always thought of this idea because someone asked me because their husband cooks so bad food, they're like, can I pay you like money to come to my house, do private lessons or something? So I just posted this class up, and I mean, it's not like a cheap class, but because you get like,
well, it shouldn't be. It's at your home.
But they get, you get like a brisket at the end and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I sold out the first class, and the second one's pretty much sold out. There's like
awesome.
I think there's like two spots left, but I mean I have a lot of actual like other food vendors that do other stuff that are coming to the classes that want to learn it, because no one, I guess, wants to teach no one anything. It's like some secret, even though all the stuff I learned is not a secret. It's just on the internet, or me going to Texas and talking to guys that run barbecue spots when I went there and hung out and stuff.
But you also have your own style. Don't discount yourself. That's something that I don't like to allow people to do. Don't discount your ability.
No, I'm just saying like, no, I'm not saying that. No, I'm saying a lot of people want to see how it's done firsthand versus looking at a YouTube video. And that's kind of where I come in. But I'm just saying there's a lot of other people out there that act like whatever they're doing is real secretive. And I'm posting next week because I'm doing like, because, since I kind of retired, and I thought I sold my big smoker, but I still have it because the person didn't have the money to pay for it. So like, I'm actually going to do like another pop-up event for like Memorial Day weekend. That's the next one. Yeah. So I'm not doing sides, because that's like the biggest problem is trying to make all these big side dishes for people. Oh yeah. So I'm just doing meats, but I'm going to release, not that I made up these recipes, but everyone wants to know how I make my mac and cheese. So I'm releasing all my recipes like in a week on like different posts. So here's the mac and cheese. So I'm not making mac and cheese no more unless you cater off me. It's like, if I do an event, you're buying meat off me because I don't want to deal with making all these sides. So I'm going to post up all my recipes that I have, so that everyone knows like how to make the stuff, so that I don't have to, if I'm doing public events, it's only going to be like selling meat.
Okay, now one thing that I've kind of glanced over tonight, it's really hard to cook a single brisket. How hard is it to consistently cook 30, man? Like, that's the thing to me that like makes it even more impressive that we've kind of glossed over. What you're doing in volume is, it's amazing. Now, speaking of amazing, the Reposado for Amon Tequila was, now we're going to try the Blanco. We maybe should have gone in the other order, but either way, the first one tasted like it was made from placenta, like angel's placenta. It was delicious.
Virgin tears.
Yes, virgin tears. But isn't placenta
That's kind of gnarly, dude.
That's what they inject for stem cell stuff. Because I've had stem cells put into my shoulder, and I know, like, if you go out of the country,
virgin tears sounds better.
I'm sure they'll like it.
And if you want to, you can sponsor BARTZ BBQ at BARTZ.BBQ on Instagram.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Send me some tequila.
No, we're gonna.
I'll be like, you're like
a whore.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
No.
I've heard this
in
before.
Entourage. You're like Turtle in Entourage when he had that tequila company.
Avion.
I
remember
Avion
when people
with Mark
lined
Cuban,
up.
dude.
I remember when people lined up at the liquor store for that.
Yeah.
Because of the show. Crazy. Yeah.
That was the best.
I thought it was crazy.
That was the best marketing scheme ever.
Okay, so Amon Blanco.
It's definitely Blanco. You can see right through it.
Cheers to you.
Cheers.
Angel's tears. That is delicious.
Even no ice, it's still pretty good. I mean, I gotta say, I hate tequila.
That is delicious tequila.
Dude, my brother loved that, dude. Because the only one that's really good, that's like, I don't know, I can't remember what it's called. It's like 1942, 1840. It's like in this.
1942, yeah. I have some
it's
ideas.
1942, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's I think it's whatever. It's some year. It's some year and it's tequila.
That's the Don Julio.
Is that what it's Don Julio?
Well, yeah. I mean,
it's like $100 a something bottle.
About 189.
There you go. Yeah, my brother loves that, and he buys
1942.
that. 1942. Yeah.
I thought 18 sounded too old.
Yeah. Well, I knew it.
This is better. This is better.
It's better.
This is better than 1942.
I don't know where this comes from, dude.
Amon tequila. I'm gonna have a little more copy. A little more information.
We'll cook some briskets that day on your Traeger, and we'll eat some or drink some.
Well, I'm gonna do a whole food and beverage thing.
Yeah.
I
teach Brian Moreno how to cook a brisket. Now that'd be something.
Yes. Well,
you get the private class for free.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, anyone who has made it this far, please please don't let me understate how bad I have ruined.
It's only been an hour and a half, dude. We haven't been on that long.
No, but I'm saying, in case people don't understand, I have ruined every brisket I have tried to make. Like, not only I've cooked a fine.
Well, it's a good thing you know me.
But I've cooked a fine shoe leather.
Once I show you how it works, I don't think. Well, I'll do it to you before I do the class. Maybe we can do it next week or something, because I'm going to show you how to cook it on the Traeger, and it won't be shoe leather. It'll be at least moist and delicious.
Okay, now for all clarity, Traeger has also sent me a free grill. Who is are also a part of the Brian Moreno Show family. So my only knowledge of actually cooking through smoke is through pellets. Now, I want the audience to understand in the smoking world, there is a difference between actually smoking with wood and cooking with pellets. In my limited knowledge, I have seen that people who are purists frown upon pellets. Am I incorrect? They frown at pellets. They see pellets as I
used to frown on it too until I bought one from RecTech a couple months ago. It was more just because that was part of my barbecue class idea, was like, well, I can't just show people how to cook on this $3,000 little backyard, because the smokers aren't cheap. It's like $2,500 for one of these little small cookers, and it's like most people have a Traeger or something like that. So I bought a pellet smoker. I'm like, I got to figure this thing out, see how it is. And my revelation was this: If you know how to trim it right, season it right, you know what temperature to cook it at the whole time on the pellet smoker, and you know when to pull it off and wrap it, and then when you're finally done, pull it off and let it rest. If you do all those other steps, maybe the smoke flavor is not as strong as like an offset cooker, or you don't really taste all that oak smell, but the actual like texture, juiciness, consistency, it actually cooks, I think, better than it does like one of these Texas smokers. You just don't have this. There's this other effect you have on it that you don't get with the pellet smoker. But as far as having something that you like, if you brought, if I showed you how to cook on there and you had a party, everyone there would think you're a barbecue master by the time you're done doing the process I showed you.
And
which is all that you really care about.
That's the thing. I'm realizing that a lot of my infatuation with food is the community aspect. And I've seen you in your element, and I know how much you enjoy, being a master cooker. Like, you don't consider yourself a chef, whatever, a master meater. I think that the end result is ultimately what matters. Okay.
No, I just
you
think
can get to the end result a lot of different ways. Okay. That being said,
yeah,
is cooking with pellets a cheaper? Is that
no? I mean,
the easier route?
I honestly,
is that the easier route?
I think. Well, I mean, I'm gonna find out, I guess, after these barbecue classes when I start seeing all my students send me their briskets. I guess I don't know what they're cooking, but I can cook an equal quality caliber piece of meat on a pellet smoker as I can on a Texas offset cooker. I will say they're different, but they both are good in their own way. But I mean, obviously, if you're going to run a barbecue spot, you want to cook on, you can't cook mass quantities on these little pellet smokers anyways.
Okay, what are the most you could cook on a pellet smoker?
I mean, I don't know.
What's the biggest pellet smoker you've ever seen?
Well, I have like because
they gave me a small one.
Yeah, I know. You have one you can do one brisket on, I think, or something like
maybe
that.
Two. Maybe two.
Yeah, I can maybe do 4 on mine.
Because there was mine's
considered big at 4.
Okay, because when they came to my place, they're like, "Oh, we should have given you the big one," and I'm like, "What's that mean?"
I mean, there is pellet. The company makes pellet smokers that cook like 8 or 9 or something like that. But I mean, I was cooking 30 at a time, and 30 consistently. Like, mine was a different contraption. Those ones we showed on Instagram, like the SG Metalworks one or whatever.
Yours had a rotation.
Yeah,
right?
I bought out of Missouri from this Heartland Cooker company, because when I bought the biggest one I had, that was when there was no local like smoker guys making smokers, So I went on the internet and I found this website. It said, look at these big ass smokers we got. So it was like 5 8-foot racks that rotated around in a huge cylinder. And that's how it cooked it. And then behind it, there was the firebox. So mine cooks it like a whole different way, similarly to the Texas one, but it cooks everything faster and better, in my opinion. Like, if I ever opened a barbecue spot ever, I would make sure to have those cookers, not these stupid Texas ones, which,
So that's what I want to get at. So this high and mighty attitude that some of these Texas barbecuers have.
Well, they just don't know that. No, they're all see LA in particular is like the worst food place to try to open a food spot.
Well, it's
not because
the red tape. It's because the red tape.
No, it's not. No, I'm not talking about actually like. I'm like trying to like say if you're like a pop up, like you're. Oh yeah. My. everyone has like, I just laugh at people like this. Oh, my passion's cooking. I want to make food for people. Whatever. I never want to make food for people. I just was forced to. I just make sure I'm the best person I possibly can do, no matter what I do, and I'll figure it out.
That's so interesting. You genuinely don't want to be good at what you're good at, do you?
No, I'm good at everything.
But do you want to be good at smoking?
I had no choice. I was forced to. I had to make money.
But do you want to be this good?
I don't know if I'm that. I don't know if I'm that good. I think I'm more. I don't think.
Are you the unwilling superhero? The superhero that gets thrust this power?
I am. No, I'm trying to say is like. I think most people could be as good at whatever if they really focused on trying to make it the best they can do, or try to, because I'm always out. Like, if anyone knows me, like, I'm always out at other food people's events. Anytime I'm not working like on my own thing, I'm always cruising around, checking stuff out, just to try to figure out any little bit of knowledge I can. And I'm not like a person that like, is real loud and like. I mean, sometimes when you're drunk or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, you go to some guy's spot, and I just sit there and hang out, see what's going on. But I mean, that all made me better in the end. Like right now, like my passion is trying to make knives. Like I have like a knife building studio in my garage.
Okay.
And like that's what I really want to do.
Can I come down, and I mean this seriously, my buddy just got a forge. Can I come down? I'll buy whatever steel. Can you walk me through a knife? Can I make a knife with you?
I want to make. I'm still trying to figure out myself. But you can come anytime you want.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Then you and I
once my house.
Does it take a whole day to make a knife?
I mean, we can make I can make. There's some small ones I made that like are you can make in a.
I've watched Forge and Fire. They're doing that shit in 4 hours.
No, but I mean. Yeah,
that's hard, right?
It's not. I mean, they are, but yeah, we're not doing 4-hour knives in my house. Maybe 6 months from now, when I have time to sit there and do it, I can figure it all out. But I can say you right now, hey, this is where I'm at right now. I'm like, when I made that first pork shoulder, I couldn't barely eat the thing.
Yeah, like I got all kinds of cool shit around here.
Because it was look at that. Because it was so bad. But at least the first knife I made, it cut the shit out of stuff.
So
like the first pork shoulder, I didn't want to.
Comparison, let me.
I'm way better making knives than barbecue from starting point. Because it's a visual. It's like you can look at the thing. Well, you're not throwing like a random piece of meat in a dark pit for 8 hours and hoping that at the end you have some sort of good product. Like the barbecue business is like so mysterious because you can do everything perfectly and it still comes out screwed up.
Luckily,
I don't have a very good record of having screwed up meats, but. I don't. That's only because I'm very specific when I my people work for me. They are like, oh, there Bartz goes walking around, trying to figure out how everything's fucked up. They're all they're like my best friends that work for me. At the same time, they're like they know that like everything is like has to be a certain way. Otherwise, I'm pissed.
You seem to have tendencies.
I have ADD, like kind of. Well, that's kind of like where I'm at.
I believe anyone who strives for perfection, which may be impossible in your mind, perfection may actually be an impossible mark.
I just strive to make sure everyone's happy.
Okay. Well, that may be an impossible mark also, my friend.
I'm pretty good at that.
Oh, well, God bless you.
I'm pretty good at making
God bless.
I'm pretty good.
As a comedian.
Except for my 5 bad Yelp reviews, I think most people are pretty happy or they didn't say nothing about it.
Okay.
But they all come back. So like cuz like that's how the only reason I've been still in business at this point in the pandemic is a repeat business I have. So I have like all these I call them the ballers. So like that TV show, like the Rocks and Ballers.
Yeah, sure.
So that's all my customers. All my customers are the customers that are in that show. driving up Ferraris and Lambos. Like I had this whole like collaboration of like high-end cars at almost every pickup I had. And like all these guys that had money, they were still buying the barbecue because everyone that was broke during the pandemic, they couldn't buy it. I mean, there were some that were there, but a lot of the ones that go to a brewery and pay like $20, $30 for food, they weren't doing so good during the pandemic, at least, after the, midway. And so like the only reason I was still in business is I had maybe like 20 customers to show up for one pickup, but I do like more sales than like 4 regular barbecue events at like a brewery. So it was awesome, but they like the food.
Oh man! So there's a couple things for me to unpack.
Yeah.
First off, your business. So that means your business is going in a good direction right now.
Well, my new business is just doing barbecue classes.
Oh, sure, but you're still doing your private catering to your.
No,
right?
Well, that's all I wanted to do before the pandemic started. Was I was trying to get out of the pop-up brewery business and just do catering, and I switched over on November 2019, and then March by March 2020, I had like 35 catering jobs, just like
Would you consider a restaurant?
If I was not investing in it and I was just
cooking,
I was in charge of the place, and I mean not like financially, but I was in charge of how it runs and what we cook, and I had some sort of, I mean, because I'm kind of like to the point right now that like as long as I can go off and do my own thing, like someone wouldn't have to even pay me that much. They would just have to give me like percentage of the business, and I could just train people on how to do it. But if we could open a spot, yeah, I mean,
if you stay in LA in the next year, I would love to look into that with you. I would absolutely. And there's 2 stipulations. Like not only would you have to be vested because that's how you would be interested.
Yeah.
But the other, it's like
I just don't want to be.
You would have to figure out how to coach people on making the sides right, man, because you know how many barbecue places across the country, like they don't get both things right. You know how you talked about the sides?
Yeah.
That's a big deal, man. Like
there's all types of sides.
You can have great meat and the side, like they just don't give a fuck about the sides.
No, I mean,
or they got gray sides and the meat is dry as fuck.
I agree.
And I've driven across country, I didn't understand the difference.
I mean, the thing about it is, in my opinion, if the food was good before they got to a certain point and then it got bad, it's pretty much means that, especially in LA, because there's a lot of places. LA is like the hype town of food.
Sure.
It wasn't a thing before. No, I mean, until Instagram like became like the dominant thing. Like now it's like there's dudes out there that make fucking shitty ass food, and it's fucking horrible.
Hey, no, but it's really bad.
But they have like the hype train behind them.
Hey, man, I won't point any fingers, but there's people that serve the same sandwiches 5 days a week and are literally like they're making 6 figures serving trash.
Yeah,
5 days a week sandwiches just because
they're a pop up.
Yeah, because the pandemic.
Oh no, it's
hype train.
I mean, even before that, it was because like anyone knows me, they know I mean, look, I'm not gonna say I make a fucking perfect brisket every time, and there's probably some that gone out that like I didn't know especially selling whole brisket sometimes like. But like when I was doing like the food at like my pop-up spot, like the one thing you can ask anyone who works for me is they've seen me chuck a whole brisket in the fucking trash. Like
you have?
Oh, I mean like the pop-up thing.
How mad were you when you did that?
I didn't give a shit. It didn't work out right.
That's not what I'm asking. How mad were you when you did that?
I wasn't mad. I was just
you were thrilled? You were happy about it?
No, I just when I mean I obviously had to make the money off it, but I mean I just knew that was one less brisket I had to cut. So I'm like, fuck it, it's gone. And so like,
you didn't throw it in the trash like Bobby Flay.
No, I was
you've seen Bobby Flay, like right?
It wasn't like I was like trying to show people. Like I mean, I've been in the I've had my guys, my right next to me working, and I would cut it into a brisket. I mean, I'm really good now that rarely would be the case, but there's a learning curve on cooking food. And I remember there's times where certain, I didn't know exactly 100% what I was doing. And I would cut in a brisket and I'd be like, oh man, this is dry as fuck. And I'm like, nope, bam. And I just fucking pulled the old brisket and just dump it in this little trash can I had next to me in my food trailer or my thing. And sometimes people catch it and they're like, what's going on? Oh, I'll take that. Nope. You're not going to get that one. You're getting this one. I pulled the next one out. It's perfect. So you're good. And
but see, that's
like when I did the latest COVID stuff, you're only trying to cook what you sold. So 95% of the food that went out, I would say was what I would be okay with. And maybe 5%, it was like, well, it's a little dry, but they're driving home. It's like, it's going to be what it is. But
as a perfectionist, you're saying you hit 95%. That's pretty good, man. Because I'm telling you, I am 0% on 2 briskets. Okay, do you know how long it will take me to get to 95% on my brisket?
Once I show you the first one, you'll be at 100.
No, man.
I guarantee.
I don't
look, man.
I think you're selling your art a little bit short, and Dustin, and that's all I want to be clear. No, seriously, because I am an artist. My art comes in the form of words. Like my art comes.
You have a real art. I'm.
Oh man.
Look, man. I'll tell you this. Hey, everyone's gonna. If anyone listen to this podcast, like.
Yeah, they do.
No. I'm not saying no. I'm saying anyone that's like in the cooking world, not like anyone that like is actually has a restaurant or something like that. All right, so here
when we open a restaurant,
this is how I explain cooking. So when you were like a little kid, you liked Legos, right? Did you ever play Legos? So they came with directions, and you just put the pieces together, and you got the end result.
Yeah.
Well, cooking's the same fucking thing. You just follow the directions and you'll get the right result. Now you might need to do it a couple of times because you didn't read it or you didn't know like exactly the right moment to do something. But like cooking is like, I mean, unless you're making like a brand new item that is not on the internet, which that's an amazing thing, which I found one thing I made and I was the first person. I know it's on the internet now.
Frito pie thing?
No, the Wagyu pastrami beef cheeks that I make. As far as I can figure out, I was the first person to do that. I couldn't find it anywhere on the internet. It was some shit I made up, and I was the first. But don't get me wrong, I'm not the last. So someone else is making that shit. I've seen it on other Instagram sites after I made it.
Well, because people follow it.
But what I'm trying to say is like
imitation is the highest form of flattery.
Is like you can be a really good cook a lot easier than you could be a better comedian.
Okay, hold the fuck on. I don't necessarily.
I mean, comedian is very much harder to do.
I think they are equally difficult.
No way, dude.
And there's two reasons.
Hey, don't challenge me to be a comedian because I'll challenge you.
I'm not saying everyone. No. Hey, I'm not saying everyone can be a comedian.
But
I'm not saying everyone can be a cook. No,
everyone can cook.
Absolutely
food.
not.
No way, dude.
Wrong.
Well, okay, then you can't read directions.
No, I'm
not saying
reading
directions
is baking.
That's
baking.
No, I mean I'm not saying like
smoking is baking a little bit.
No, the barbecue thing, you guys see someone doing it, but I'm saying like chef, that word in general, or or anyone that's in the food business, and a lot of the food they make, if you go on the internet and you follow the directions, you type in whatever you want to make. You're gonna figure it out. Now the barbecue thing, the barbecue and a couple other food businesses, fried chicken's another one. I can say there's a lot of nuances of how you make the best product. But like if I tell you hey man, do you want to make I want some I don't know, fucking like some like carne asada tacos. Like, I guarantee you, if you go to the store, you can figure out how to buy the right meat and cook on a grill and like make a carne asada taco. But then there's these guys out there, or even like a smash burger, you know. And I mean, there's a lot of food items that, like, you know, if you just follow the directions, like you're gonna be way farther ahead than other people. Whereas, like, there's a lot of businesses that, like,
I don't
really require a technical aspect. Look, I had no training, dude. There's people go to like culinary school. They're $50,000 in debt, giving to some stupid dumb school to learn.
Way more.
100,000. I don't know.
Cordon Bleu, you're going to be about 180 after.
Yeah, I went to school of free YouTube.
Okay,
and experimentation.
There have been so many self-taught geniuses in our world. I don't even need, you know.
But I think a lot of people can do that. They just don't. They don't give themselves credit.
But what I'm trying to explain to you is that I vehemently disagree that everyone can do that, because you have.
I'm going to teach you, and then you will not disagree.
Yeah, I'm a really good cook naturally.
You don't need to be a good cook. You just need to be like.
I would like if you could teach my sister.
I should have brought brisket with me. I could.
If you could teach my sister to be a really great smoker, I would be impressed.
I can teach anybody.
Okay, but and this is an interesting. I never thought of this parallel before, because I think cooking is an art. Here you go. No. I'm on tequila. No, we're going back to the reposado. I think the repo.
No, I'm not saying like to be at the top of the game, you don't have some extra thing.
No, man. You have to have it. There's an it factor involved.
What I'm trying to say is there's so many guys that sell food, barbecue food. I'm not going to name anyone, that are so bottom of the game, but they sell a ton of food that, like, any jabron that had a fucking Traeger smoker could make better barbecue if they talk to me than like these guys are going to. I mean, there's probably like a handful of guys. Like, I mean, maybe there's like 7 or 8 dudes that make really good barbecue in LA, and then the rest of them are a bunch of posers. And like, if you come talk to me, I'm gonna show you how you can impress your friends. And then once they're impressed, then they'll be like, "Hey, how'd you learn how to do this?"
Okay, don't get me wrong.
I know Dustin Bartz. He has barbecue classes in his backyard. You're gonna come find me, because I rather teach people to put all these other guys out of business to make bad food. The ones that make the good food, they'll be around. I just want to teach everyone else that it's not that hard. Now, it's not hard.
Now,
it's easy.
Don't get me wrong. There are so many things in this world that people who are really good at what they do make it seem like super easy. Like, there's tons of things. Like, you see this Laker. You see this Laker game right here?
Oh man.
Okay,
there's no one there. Where'd they all go?
Well, no, there's no. But you see all these basketball. You see how easy.
I thought there were a lot of fans at the basketball game.
Yeah, there were a few, but they got. Okay, the point is
they had 15,000 people at the Dodger Stadium. How you got at least
in pods, and you hear it's like 1,700 per ticket on stuff, like if on resale. Yeah, like and I'm Dodger. I've wasted. Okay, Mon Tequila. We're about to pour a little more. This is the Reposado. It's on the screen right now. Look at this. It's butterscotch ripe with pitted fruit mingled with abundant agave notes. Like, get the fuck out of here.
It's like angel's tears.
Right? Absolutely delicious. Amon.
No, I mean you
absolutely.
You hit a winner on that one.
I have to say, not only am I extremely impressed, I am
like hey man, I'm not sponsored by nobody, and
hey man,
and so I'm impressed that you got sponsored by someone that actually had like a good product, you know.
Oh, you don't like Traeger? Get the fuck out of here! My Traeger sponsorship was the most impressive.
No, Traeger is impressive, but I'm just saying, like,
Amon's delicious.
In the entire time I've done this whole thing, I've been sponsored by. I never looked for a sponsor, but you know, at the same time, I haven't. So I'm impressed that we got this delicious tequila as sponsorship. That's great.
Let me be clear. When you were buying your first smoker and searching on Craigslist, I was in dirty bars and clubs and restaurants, like
You were
paying $5 to do 3 minutes of comedy to learn.
You paid $5 to do comedy.
Well, when you first start, like to do open mics, sometimes like in these dirty bars, like the owner will be like, "Oh yeah, I did open mic. Everyone's gonna pay $5, or buy a drink, whatever."
Oh, I gotcha.
Whatever. Just so they have the fine. You can do whatever. You can do whatever you want on the stage.
I got your drink. I got your drink, bro.
So when you were learning to smoke, I was learning to trust my instincts and to speak in the way I do today. And I have to say, Amon is not only a delicious, reward of my long, hard years of failure. Because I assure you, I have bombed so many more times in front of important people than I have succeeded. Okay? Like bomb, like hard, like make your butthole pucker up nice and tight. Like in a way that like only fear can do.
Well, nowadays it has to be really crazy between coronavirus and Me Too and all this shit.
I don't worry about. I don't.
You gotta do comedy. Okay. It's like
let me.
You're like this. You're like ice skating.
Well, let me be clear. I'm very adaptable, and I'm a person of principle, like of high principle. Like I don't believe in morals. I don't believe. I believe a lot of these platitudes in which people like put themselves upon are totally false. I am a person of principle. I'm
100% the same way.
And I live by very specific principles, and that's it. Nothing more. Like you do what makes you happy. You don't hurt nobody, and you do what you say what you mean. Straight. If you do those two things, you will live a better life than and those are the principles that I genuinely like. And I have failed with the best of them.
Now, I always believe if you even if I hate somebody, I'll give them like whatever respect, just because I feel if I treat them with a certain way, even if I don't like that person, that in the end, like you'll be okay. And it's like a lot of people like have a lot of people that know me. They're like, oh, like why are you nice to that guy? You don't even like him. And it's like, I'm nice to him just because you never know when that person you might need something off them, or you might need. You're better off to, keep your high principles, but at the same time, like just be visually a nice person, and just anything that like in your mind, like, cause a lot of people are real emotional, and
they are,
and I'm not.
Okay, now
you won't see too much emotion off me.
Now let me be clear. I am not of the same cut of cloth there. I am emotional, but I have learned that that forgiving and forgetting is not only the high ground, which is probably the best path. And sometimes you got to bite your tongue, and sometimes you must just forgive for no other reason than to save your soul. And I'm trying to think of a better, more poetic way to say it, but there isn't. And in my business, I'm basically 10 years in comedy this year. I'm still, well, yes, you can. Boo, there's also, hold on, there's also.
Hey, man, dude, if you're 10 years in comedy, you're not broke yet. I mean, you're doing pretty good. That's all I can say.
Well, let's see, like if my film.
I mean, like seriously,
but like comedy taught me a tremendous amount. Ideally, my filmmaking will be what defines me. My comedy, I think, can transcend lines and I can bring people together. But ideally, my filmmaking I would like that to be my legacy that endures. And when this film does get released, we'll see, I assure you there will be a lot of people who hate it, who absolutely think I have destroyed the world, like filmmaking world. And seriously, trust me, I can assure you.
I like that, dude. I always like people that want to fuck up everything else.
Well,
dude.
no, but I have done a hybrid film that
I mean, like, all I need is like a couple tattoos on my arm and like a fucking dog chain wallet.
And you would be an Instagram smoker all-star.
Exactly.
I knew where you were going. I could see it. I follow those people.
There's like some story, like the thing is, like, I mean, like, looking back, I mean, not that I'm dead yet, because hopefully I'll last a lot longer on this planet. But I mean, the last 43 years I've been here, I mean, between like being an all-star salesman at this company I work for, selling Macintosh computers, to opening my own eBay business and running it and selling surveillance cameras, being the number one seller of surveillance cameras on eBay, and making shitloads of money. Little did I know that was like my best thing I ever had, but I wish I could go back then and not spend all that money and party up my nose and wherever else I went, But anyways, and then next thing you have to do is this barbecue business, and now, like, I'm trying to make knives in my backyard. It's like, and then other things I'm working on. It's like, I don't know, man. It's kind of crazy. Like, like, I don't know what other people do with their lives when they sit there at some job like all their life, and that's like the thing.
But that's the thing. We're not all made for the same path. And Dustin, this is why I want you to take some of the credit that I keep trying to give you. It's like you worked really hard to get really good.
And I quit.
Okay, for as much as you say, like, that's how I say. And it's funny, like, I've had a few people who
quit, and now you're doing Zoom comedies and stuff.
No, there are people who will come up to me who I don't really even know, but they'll be like, that happens all the time. No, I listen to your, like, YouTube or whatever, or watch YouTube.
Dude, that's cool.
And they'll be like, why do you say you're an ex-comedian? Like, are you not going to get on stage? And they think it's very deadly serious. You didn't quit. You simply
I've only
just
quit.
went down a different path.
I've quit. Hey, like this girl Andrea that works at LEL Works. She's like, so your last event is until
your next event,
until the next last event.
Oh, absolutely.
And she's like.
You have to keep talking.
All right. So she's like, why don't you get my voice? She's like, your event's till you like your next last event, and I'm like, she's like, so I'm gonna get some T-shirts made up saying that, like, this event is until your next last event. So we all thought my last event was when I sold the smoker, but apparently that didn't go through. So now I'm at another event just because I have this big ass smoker for like Memorial Day. Well, I gotta make money, What do we call that? Audio. It's good. I won't touch it no more.
Now, as you find out, doing like all this, and that's going to be one of the additions to this show when I move on. I'm going to have a full-time producer in here, and I want to make sure things like that.
We just want to. Just got to drill a hole in this table and run that through the middle or something like that. Anyways.
Well, I am handy. Like, I can do a lot, but
you made this studio, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, with the help of a wondrous amount of people and YouTube.
Gotcha.
Obviously, but yes, this Studio 51 is
You put all the sound deadening equipment on the walls.
Yeah, I mean,
I love the red and black. That's like my thing. I love red and black. Like when
I wanted to switch it up so like it felt alive.
The whole place is red and black.
I think so. It felt alive, you know.
The red and black is fucking sick, dude. I like that. No, because when I put this new bathroom in my house, and like my mom, like she's like, "It's not red and black, is it?" And I'm like, "How do you make a bathroom?" I'm like, "That'd be weird, dude." I mean, but I thought about it after she said it. I already picked out the colors, but no, it was gray and white. But she's like, "You don't have a black bathtub, do you?" I'm like, "No, there's no black bath." No black bathtub.
Now tell me, did you consider leaving LA?
Oh yeah, I was gonna move to Texas.
That's what you had told me. So, what?
So basically,
what brought this change on?
Well, I was tired of the stupid rules in LA for this whole coronavirus thing, where Texas is open and you can't open a barbecue spot with these outdoor cookers. In LA, and it's like in Texas, it's like no problem. Bam, you're open. Once especially your food trailer, it's super easy. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm moving to Texas." Plus, my house was worth more money than fucking it's ever been worth. So I was able to cash out like big time. And
but now that you've done renovations, it's even more.
Well, that's why I'm still staying. But what happened is right before Thanksgiving, I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna start working out. I need to lose this belly. There's no reason not to do it now because it's like perfect time because we're all locked down and all this shit."
Yeah.
And so I bought all the gym equipment I had in my house. So my last night out, it's always the last night. Don't do that. Never do the last night. Cancel whatever you want to do before you get to last night. Because I was on last night. I was there with my buddies and a couple guys that work for me. And, we were faded. We're like, "Oh, let's see what bullshit's down at Hermosa Beach down by the pier," which is where all the action's at,
Yeah.
And walked down there. My one buddy is like, "Oh, I need cigarettes." And I'm like, "Okay, can't even smoke outside in Hermosa, but whatever. You go get some cigarettes." So I'm standing in this parking lot, and I see some hot chick. I mean, it's been months since I see any hot ass, and it wasn't on the internet, I mean, there's plenty on the internet, but like in real life, you don't see the shit. And I was just looking at it, I was like, "Fuck, look at that chick, dude." And I walked out, I was barely drunk. Walked out, and it was a 2-foot drop. There was no it was 2-foot drop to the street. And I fucking landed on the side of my ankle, and I mean it should have been broken.
This was right before a gig, huh?
Should have been broken. No, this is right before I was gonna start working out, and no, the movie was not a part. So like the reason I'm saying this story was I fell out, and basically I did like a class 3 sprain in my leg. It was fucked. So what happened is I had all this intention of moving to Texas, and I had this fucked up leg. It was right before Thanksgiving, and I'm like, okay, I got a month to get it better, because I'm, gonna start looking for places in. So I found like the perfect spot on the internet that I wanted to use for my restaurant right outside Austin, and my leg was still messed up, and like the coronavirus is all crazy, and I'm like, oh man, I gotta fly an airplane. Check this spot out if I want to do it. And it's like, whatever. And I was super paranoid. Little did I know I already had the coronavirus prior to that, but I didn't know that back then. So I was like, my N95 mask, fly to Texas, go meet up these guys. And I'm like, oh man, this is perfect. Like it was a perfect scenario. It was super cheap. I didn't spend a lot of money opening up the place. It was perfect spot. And it still is a perfect spot right now, but I don't have it, but it was in a perfect spot. And then I get back to the hotel.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there, and I fucking pull my sock off because my foot was killing me. The one I sprained. Dude, the shit was like fucking like twice the size it normally was. I once took the shoe off, the foot just expanded, and I couldn't put the shoe back on my foot. And I'm like, dude, how the fuck am I going to move down here in 3 weeks by myself? Open this barbecue spot And like right now, I don't even know how I'm gonna like put my shoe on and get on the plane.
Do you think this was the universe pushing you in a different direction?
I know it was. Well, I mean, I don't believe in that shit, but it probably was. Because the thing about it was I didn't do the deal. The guy got pissed off because he's like, man, because I negotiated the shit out of that deal. Like I had the best deal. I even had a COVID clause in my deal to rent this spot out.
Yeah.
Like I thought of everything. Like my buddy, this a lawyer, he's like, oh man, see if you can put this in the, I mean, I had the best, because guy just wanted his money, dude. He didn't give a fuck. He's like, as long as you stay here, I'll do whatever you want. I'll bend over backwards. You can fuck me in the ass, like whatever. So I had this great deal, and then when I was sitting in that hotel room and I looked at my foot, I was like, dude, I don't think this shit's gonna be better in 3 weeks, you know? Like it's fucked up. Like I mean, it was like a fucking elephant foot. So I guess maybe that I don't know. Maybe me hurting myself was the best thing ever happened to me right before Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Who knows? And because I mean, I'm much happier at my house, like doing barbecue classes, and we're also gonna do these dinners, because I used to do them before the pandemic, where it was like an all-you-can-eat barbecue dinner and all the brews you can drink for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And we used to do it at the brewery. And then I did like 3 of those. And they get all like the high-end meats, you know, like the Wagyu pastrami beef cheeks, like fucking Wagyu brisket, Wagyu pastrami brisket. So, and everyone gets food to take home at the end. So like I posted up one of those, and I mean, that one's going to be probably sold out in the next couple week or two. But, you know, I have like 16 people come to my house, like $150 a head, you know, all they can eat, all they can drink. And it's like, okay, that's cool, dude. Cause like, then I can serve the food like how it's supposed to be. You know, if stuff's not done right, I don't have to worry about like, and just like, you know, distributing food because they paid for it. Because I'm all about like editing the food once it's cooked, you know.
And coming out of a pandemic, do you think this is sustainable?
Oh, I mean the barbecue classes for sure, because we're only doing like
I think so too.
7 people, but like the dinners I think are going to be off the hook. I mean, I think because basically right now, like I've halfway sold out of like my May one, but I might move it back to June, just because
you have such a great backyard.
I mean, just because there's a lot of people that hit me up, like probably almost 30 people. They're like, "Oh, I want to do it, but I want to make sure I'm fully vaccinated, or you know, whatever." So like, I don't have to worry about nothing. So I mean, I do have a lot of people that I know who a lot of them are, because they're like in the food business, so they've already been vaccinated. So they're like, I don't give a shit, dude. I'm gonna go to fucking hang out at Bartz's house in the backyard, and I mean, it's gonna be a chill event. It's gonna be cool, dude. Like you know, I mean, like you're gonna get the best food. Like I mean, I in a small quantity for like 16 people, you know, I can make the best food from ever, you know, compared to like when you have to mass quantity stuff, you know, like good thing for me, my mass quantity is still pretty good.
No, your mass quantity is excellent. That's why I'm even thinking you could literally sell tickets to dinner events in your backyard.
Well, I mean, that's basically what I'm doing, but I got to keep
that is basically.
I got to keep on the low key. We're keeping on the low key.
Well,
just you and your 5,000
there are
listeners.
There are people just selling stuff out of their front porch right now. You can do that.
Your dog loves me. He just like hangs out here. Like, does he smell the meat that's still on my pants or what, dude?
Well, it's a she, but
she
is a sweetie. No, she is a sweetie.
Look at her. Oh, you need the dog cam. That's what you need here.
See, Dustin, I think we in this time we covered a lot more information than we did before.
I last time we were trashed.
Well, I have to say
you and I were pretty jacked up.
Well, the software update was.
I'm just talking about physically.
I know. Do you know my mother says I should smoke and drink Les on the show. She constantly comments about that.
I'm
So
glad my mom doesn't know who you are. So like,
no. She doesn't. No.
So she'll never find this. this will never. Because
I have.
My mom doesn't like drinking or smoking anything.
Well, no, there are a lot of people that just like to hear my thoughts on things because, whatever, for whatever reason.
Exactly.
And I have to say, with you, you have, you've not only overcome adversity, you have really changed a market. And to change a market, you got to be really good at what you're doing. And people, that people saw what you were doing and they tried to do the same. And not only
that's a great thing in part of America. You don't have to be the best to make money.
Well, you don't ever have to be the first of the party. You just got to be better. And you have constantly reinvented yourself, and there must be some credit given there, because I think that is something that in a day of like instant gratification, we are now with social media. I think your ability to adapt and adjust in a business that you apparently hate, I think is not only exceptional.
Isn't it so great when you hate something and really good at it?
Well, that's the thing. There has to be the love and hate line is so close. I was going to get to that point. I think you do have a love-hate relationship with meat, and it's there. You love it, but you hate it. Does keto means meat? You're on a keto diet. Hold on. Before you're told that you're on a keto diet, that means what? What does that mean?
That means you eat like a normal human version of protein, which is like 4 ounces probably.
4 ounces. What is 4 ounces of your meat? Not much, right?
That's not very much. You can eat more. I mean, I'm a bigger guy, so I can eat more than 4 ounces of meat. But you eat
it's portion control.
It's basically meat and vegetables. Okay. Which is like what everyone tells you in your entire life you should be eating, but everyone eats all this bullshit, And I mean, luckily, the tequila that was Armand, tequila. There's no carbs in that, so it won't totally.
Very little.
No, there's
there's calories. There's
calories, but you're concerned about the carbs on like the keto diet. So, and I mean, dude, I already lost a shitload of weight before.
No, actually.
When I first, no, not right now, but like when I first started the business, I was super fat, and then I got on this diet, and the best part is like the brisket and pulled pork because the high fat. It works perfect. So I had like all the food I needed to eat, and I lost a bunch of weight. But
what about your cholesterol?
Oh, I was super low. I mean,
good.
No, not back then. Everything was good, but then that's when the business starts, and it was like before it was fun. Lost weight, go to the gym, have a good time. Next thing you know, shit, dude, I gotta make a lot more money.
Are you having fun again?
Oh, now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm having the best time of my life.
See, that's great. Now,
I'm having a better time than I can possibly imagine. It's almost like I'm like that kid in the Willy Wonka chocolate factory, and I can just grab like all the chocolates.
Don't you think you have to go through some of the rough times to get to the good times, to get to be able to feel like this? Don't you think you have to experience some of those like 30-hour smoking shifts?
Well, I mean, stuff like that hasn't changed. It's more like, I'll just say it. I'm smarter than most people. So I mean,
you're working smarter than harder.
I had to figure out some sort of angle, so I didn't have to work so hard, but everyone's still happy.
But the thing is, don't you feel Like you had to work.
Why to perfect something?
Because I believe
it's kind of like the future knife business I'm making. If I figure, I mean, there's all these guys out there making knives, but if I figure out some sort of fast track way,
there's no fast track way to make it. Knife making takes.
It really
It's that 10,000 hours. You got to do.
I'm going to figure it out in 3 months.
Oh, I can't wait. I will come. I'll come this week to do my first knife.
No. In 3 months, I'll put it this way. Once my house is in order, which is probably about 2 or 3 weeks from right now, like everything's all fucking done.
Then we're gonna forge our first knife.
No, I'm gonna forge my first one, and I'm gonna.
Can I not do it with you? I'll buy the steel. I'll buy steel. I'll go to a junkyard.
I have the steel. I mean, we can totally do it in my house.
I'll go to a junkyard.
I'm just saying,
whatever.
I'm saying when my workspace, which right now all my other life essentials are like stuck in my garage.
Oh,
because we're remodeling the house. So like when that's all done in like 2 or 3 weeks, and I get my whole house back the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I can go back because I mean I really wanted to work. I wanted this whole time to be working on knives, and I have a treadmill, workout bench, weight, all this broken down shit.
When did you buy your home?
It's like 7 years ago.
Oh, such a good time.
Oh, it was a great time. Oh man,
such a good. I wish you would have bought 6 of them. Right?
I'll put it this way.
You wish you would have bought 6 homes.
That bathroom I put in there with my buddies, like, because my buddy's a contractor, hooked me up.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I only paid $10,000 for this little bathroom, and like that right there is like probably increased my house like 30 or 40,000 because it's like the pussy factor.
Yeah.
Like when the chick's there with her husband. And they're living on, we got to live in Lawndale. We can't live in her, like, Redondo or Manhattan. Lawndale's kind of ghetto. I mean, it's not ghetto, but they think it,
it's not.
In South Bay, that's, like, considered the ghetto. Unless you live in Hawthorne or Inglewood. That's, like, the real ghetto. And so
Inglewood's changing. It's going to be.
I know everything's changing, but I'm just saying, like, in the mindset, because I have a real estate license. So I used to sell real estate, so I know how it is. So, in my house, this little bathroom my buddy put in there. Oh man, I get so much money for my house right now. I want to sell that shit, dude. Like probably easily 20 or 30,000 extra because she'll walk in there. Maybe she has a baby bump, whatever, and she's this big ass tub, jacuzzi, rain shower. It's all like doesn't look like a dude's house because the rest of my house is like brown everywhere.
Well, it's the color of the time.
It's crazy.
I renovate the places I have renovated and flipped have not been in California. They've been in Florida just because prices are so inflated here in California. And 7 years ago, man, God, you wish you could have bought the whole block that you live on. Oh my God.
Oh, you're leaving me.
Well, Dustin, do you feel like because not only did you get to plug your classes, I think I had the opportunity to introduce you more properly this time. Like I think
there's a whole lot of story that we didn't get involved in like we did last time because last time we were faded and we're trying to go a chronological order of stuff.
We were, but I didn't.
It didn't work out so well.
No, but I didn't impress how badass you are and how much you have changed the whole Southern California smoking business. And it's like,
well, that's true. I'm very humble on that whole analogy you just said.
Well,
there.
You are, but it's something that
I don't think that's the case. But
it is. It absolutely.
If it's in your mind, that's great. Dude.
Well, man, I've seen people who are really good at what they do and they can't scale or they can't adapt or they aren't a good business person. I feel like you're all of those things, and as you may not consider yourself like a restaurateur or a chef or whatever, but I think you are exceptional at whatever you do consider yourself. Whatever. And that's up to you. Like, I don't, I think you're exceptional. And that's a fact that I didn't impress enough. And that's why I am genuinely happy.
I appreciate that. And now your dog's like,
well, that's not an analogy. That's a metaphor. That's an exact statement. I have a way of putting things.
I was preoccupied with the dog, and
I have a way.
I was saying, I appreciate that.
If all else fails,
is what I was trying to say.
Yes, I will write for Hallmark if all else fails.
But no analogy. but what I was trying to say was like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess you only see things from your perspective.
Sure.
You don't see it from other people's outlooks and stuff.
That's part of the problem of being good at something.
And in my perspective, well, at least I hope that even with one barbecue, one class, I teach, like when I teach you, on like how to make the brisket on the Traeger smoker,
Yeah.
Oh man, this dog is heaven, dude. Loves on.
She is the sweetie.
Right there. But anyways, I know my hope was it's just like, I mean, it may not everybody like some of the people, like you can just show them how to basic stuff, and then they're like, oh man, but
you change their whole life.
But see, the thing is, those things like I'm showing them aren't like things I created. Those are things that like it's like freely on the internet, and I just I just did it,
Man,
no, because
do you understand?
It's I know everyone hates this when I say this shit.
No, but knowledge is free in libraries. It takes sometimes the correct medium, like a teacher, in order to express the knowledge.
Can you teach someone comedy? Do you think?
Absolutely.
You think so?
Can you teach people to perform? No. You can teach people comedy.
Okay. All right. Well,
can you teach people to perform? Can you teach people to cook 30 briskets?
Yes.
No.
100%.
You can teach them to cook one.
I'm gonna teach you.
You can teach them to cook one.
I'm gonna teach you
to cook one.
30.
To cook 30 at the consistency you can't. It's in you or not.
You know what, bro?
Nope.
We're Memorial Day.
You can teach people comedy, but you
Memorial
cannot
Day.
teach them
Brian
to
Moreno
perform.
is going to cook 30 briskets on my smoker, and they're all going to be perfect.
And
with my
to be
with my
biggest homeless smoking donation.
No way, dude. It's
Goddamn right,
perfect.
because I'm not going to let the meat go to waste.
No, we're going to sell them all. They're going to be perfect. I'm going to teach you. I put a challenge out to the 5,000 people that are listening to this thing.
I would.
If you want to learn how to cook 30 briskets, DM me.
I would.
And I can guarantee you, with me never touching one brisket, I can teach that person to cook 30 briskets.
I would do it just to donate the 30 briskets to.
No, we're selling them, bro.
The homeless.
No. We're not.
I would.
We're not going to the homeless.
I would. Well, for two reasons. Because if it's bad brisket, those yell. They're probably not yelping me.
They're never bad.
Okay, well, I'm just saying, if they are, they're probably not yelping me. And two, it's a good cause.
See.
Okay. My first concern are the Brian Moreno Yelp reviews. Okay. My second is the goodness of man.
No, what I'm trying to tell you is this. So, even with all this free knowledge on the internet on how to cook stuff, I still think that like they're trying to dumb everyone down, thinking that like it's hard to cook some barbecue. It's not fucking hard.
Oh man,
it's
not. I have ruined to don't. I have.
But you weren't trained. You weren't trained by me.
Shoe leather.
Dude,
no, but I've watched a lot of stuff.
We'll make a new video series. BARTZ and Brian Moreno trying to make a brisket on a Traeger, and I'll bet you that'll be your highest like hit count on videos ever, because it's going to be like literally like me instructing you like the entire process will say like maybe 20 minutes and like 8 hours of us smoking weed and drinking. And then you're gonna have like the best brisket ever. I'm telling you, it's fucking easy, dude.
No, not only are you underscoring your talent, the thing.
I'm not saying I don't have a talent. I'm just saying like I can make your life so much easier.
Oh, you probably could. Oh, that I don't disagree with.
That's how. All I'm trying to say is maybe you're not going to be BARTZ BBQ, but you're going to be. You're going to be the best in your neighborhood.
I could be a mean BARTZ BBQ.
I don't know how many people come here. You're on here. You're in Hollywood Boulevard, on the only street I know in Hollywood Boulevard. You can park on the street. It's fucking weird, dude.
Well, this is a very nice.
It's a weird spot, dude.
It is, yes,
because when I found out I could park in front of your house on Hollywood Boulevard, I was like, man, that's crazy, dude. That's because you get on the street, dude. It's fucking like
it's packed.
Mayhem. Fucking the Joker's out, Batman, Spider-Man, dude. I'm sitting there, fucking happy. I was at the dispensary, fucking chilling out, listening to some Cypress Hill and some shit in my car, and all these fucking faux people are walking in front of me, dude. Like
This has been.
It's interesting.
This has been a great time, Dustin. And I have to say, I will do. God, I don't want to put a firm date on it, but in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we're gonna do a full food and drink episode.
And you cook 30 briskets on this.
Well, if I can cook, I can pull up some other people's Instagram and see them cutting into briskets. And I've seen you cut into these briskets. The same thing.
It's just math and science.
I have never cut into like the brisket that I cut is exactly the opposite of every brisket. If you search smoked brisket on Instagram, what I have cooked is closer if you're like raw, unprocessed shoe leather.
What's 12 times 12?
What is that? 244 or something?
Oh man, you're fucking failing, dude. You know it.
What is it?
144. 144.
Okay, so whatever.
No.
I carried an extra number.
The reason I'm asking is because like cooking is just like it's math and science. So as long as you can do math and science, you can cook.
Okay. Well,
I mean, there is everyone that says like it's love, and I'm just like, man,
you're like, I don't even like this.
Like love doesn't pay too much.
I don't even like
it pays very little, and so I mean, you know, and so I'm all about the math and science on stuff, and yeah, I'm just glad I'm just glad in this rough world of cooking, I have like 4 or 5 really good friends I've met during this whole thing that like believe the same shit I do, and hey,
are you better because of the pandemic?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh fuck yeah. I mean, I'm better because because I made so much fucking money during the pandemic, and I'm not gonna fucking like disqualify that. I was the right spot, the right time. Got paid shitloads of money from Sony to do all these virtual reality concerts and shit for them. I met Cypress Hill. I'm like Cypress Hill's like main barbecue dude.
I love it.
I'm doing their 420. I'm doing their 420 concert at the Roxy.
I love it.
Virtual concert, but I'm gonna be there. And I'm fucking hanging out. I love those guys. You know, it's fucking. They were my number one caterers. Wow. I met them in like July, and I did like 20 catering jobs for those guys. Wow. It was a great time, and so you know because of all that shit, dude. I'm doing fine, dude. I mean, I'm doing like, and it gave me time to like think about stuff because I was like not so like concentrated on. Oh shit, you gotta like do another pop-up to like, make the money because we used to sell food and like we didn't know people were there, we're just like, oh yeah, cooking all this barbecue, and hopefully people are there. You know, like now everything's pre-ordered. I mean, I have my own problems with the pre-order thing, people not showing up at time, whatever. But I got their money. I got everyone's money, and like it's a bit. And see, the thing is, like, unlike other food vendors, food people, I don't do this for fucking fun. I do this fucking make money. That's fucking it. Like, I don't give a shit what I'm doing. I just want to make the money. So if that means I have to be the best at it, I'll be the best at it. Like, the only thing I really do right now that I actually like is like the knife thing, just because there's like no real pressure on it. It's like,
that's exciting.
I'm kind of just like in my own little zone, and I'm just hoping I can make product that people want to buy. But like, you know, all this other stuff, it's like, it was all like survival of the fittest, you know. It's just like, you know, you got to be the best at something to get the money, you know. And I don't even think I'm the best, you know. Not even close. But
you may not be, but you're pretty good.
I'm glad there's enough people that want to buy whatever I'm selling to support myself. You know, I'm just glad there's enough people that are like what I'm doing. And that's really what it's all about when you're trying to do a business, comedy or like barbecue. I mean, we're all in the service business, you know.
Yeah, that's
true. We all can be fucked by like one person talking some dumb shit or whatever. But you know, it's like, I'm just glad that like the little group of people I have, you know, they all are happy with what I do. And like, if they buy the knives off me, or maybe in the future that becomes some sort of thing, or maybe it doesn't, or the barbecue classes, who knows? You know, maybe I do barbecue classes every day of the week. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
See, that's
the good thing is I'm single. I have no fucking females permanently in my life. So I just do what I want to do. And I don't give a fuck about anyone else. You know, it's like,
whether it's whoever's in your life, you just seem very malleable, like able to adjust. And I am.
Well, because I'm single with no kids. That's a big thing.
Well, no, trust me, I understand.
I mean, that's the way it works.
I lost money betting on Brooklyn tonight. I wouldn't have done that if I had kids. I assure you. I'm usually much better at sports betting than I was today.
But I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And if people listening definitely know what we're saying, you know.
Sure.
Like when you make certain life choices, your life's a lot more open to do things.
It is. And I think what you have done with all the adversity that's been thrown your way is very admirable. And that's just something that I don't want it to go unsaid or unnoticed or unacknowledged with you, because it's really important that, and that was like earlier when I was trying to think like how to say it, because you've come a very long way in a short time, and you may still have a much longer way to go, but what you've done is not only impressive, like it's really changed the landscape in a region that like I know very well. So that's why I want to give you as much credit as I can without without saying,
yeah, but I mean,
without sounding like I'm exaggerating in any way, because this is exactly how it is.
What I can say is I'm very fortunate that I am the person who I am, where I like investigate and figure shit out, and like, you know, because a lot of people like, you know, it's like they would never become very good at something because they don't like ask all the questions, you know.
Yes. And
I believe that whether it's me or it's you or some other guy, I mean, in a lot of businesses, I mean, or a lot of stuff you're doing in life, it's all about like if you really want to do it or not, like figure it out. And for me, it was more like whether I'm broke or not. You know, like yeah. I was already broke. I mean, I was broke. I was busted. I mean, I was fucked. And then like my parents, like, thank goodness they have money. You know, they're like,
God bless them.
They're like, we're gonna like, give you this crazy loan and like pay us off whenever, but try to do the barbecue business because it seems like that's the only thing working for you, you know. And so I tried it out, and luckily for them, it was after the first week, I was paying all my bills, you know, it was paying off, but it wasn't like I ever wanted to do that, like. You know, I was looking on the internet, like at Franklin Barbecue and all these other guys.
Yes. Well, no. Keep telling. I have to say,
So, anyways, yeah, go ahead.
No. For as much credit as you give your parents for the loan and everything and pushing you in a direction, you have had a lot of success based on your wherewithal. Like when the times got tough, like when you could barely push the first smoker up the hill, you figured out how to jump over the hurdle. And that is something that you can't sell yourself short on. And sometimes I have to remind myself of that. You got to jump over these hurdles.
So what do the people do? These other people,
they quit.
They quit. Is that what it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. You're the first person that said that. So like, you know, a lot of people don't have an answer for that. They quit. You think they're just done?
Absolutely. What do you mean? Of course. And
why do you quit? Why would you quit, dude?
Well, I say that all the time.
What else are you gonna do?
Well, there's a Mark Cuban philosophy to life that if you have a plan B, your plan A will not work. And I don't
think that's true. I think you should have a plan C and a plan E and a plan F.
Says you. I think
that's what I have right now.
I think you might have